Hey everybody, thanks for being here. Let's jump in. You did not start your business to spend your life in triage. Yet, here you are. You're putting out fires all day. You're racing from one urgent thing to the next. You're carrying the weight of problems that seem to appear faster than you can ever hope to solve them. You're not just leading the company, you're the emergency response unit, you're the crisis hotline, you're the repair crew, all wrapped up in one. I want to talk a little bit about that today. Listen, it's not in a judgmental way, but it's in a very honest way, because firefighting can start to feel like it's your identity. You get so used to the adrenaline, the urgency, and the sense of being needed that it becomes how you measure your actual value. You're the only one who can fix it. You are the only one who can hold it all together. You are the only one who will stay until it's done. There's truth in that. There's a strange pride in that too. People will tell you how dedicated you are, how much you care, how they do not know what they would do without you. And if you're not careful, that praise can become fuel. And that fuel keeps you in the cycle. Every time you solve a crisis, it feels like a win, even if that crisis never should have landed on your plate in the first place. Here's the truth no one likes to talk about. A business that depends on you to be the firefighter is a business that is one emergency away from burning you out completely. You can live in triage mode for a while, maybe even years, but it's not sustainable. And to be real, you probably already know that. The other thing about firefighting is that it tricks you into thinking that you are making progress. Because every time you put something out, you feel a little bit of relief for the fire being gone, but you're not actually building anything in those moments. You're reacting, you're not creating, and you're surviving, but you're certainly not designing. And that is the shift that I want to talk about. Moving you from firefighter to designer. From someone who is always responding to what's breaking to someone who is building something that breathes without constant emergency intervention. When you think about a designer, you think about intention, you think about planning, you think about creating something that works the way it's meant to work without needing to be held up at all the different corners. That is what your business needs. And the good news is you can build it, but it doesn't happen by accident. There's intention there. You have to make the decision to stop living in emergency mode. You have to accept that part of you might miss the rush a little bit at first. And you have to replace that rush with the satisfaction of watching a system run the way that you designed it. So how do you build a system that breathes? So in my world, it starts with 4 key design anchors that work together to pull you out of triage and into calm, confident leadership. Now, these are not theories. These are the tools that I have seen work in every industry at every stage of growth, bar none. The first anchor is EMI, Empowerment Intelligence. This is your real-time decision partner. You see, one of the reasons that you get stuck in firefighting mode is because you are the only one who can make certain calls. And those calls, they pile up really fast. EMI takes the bottleneck out of your brain. It gives you the clarity, the language, even the structure to make the right decision in the moment without losing hours to overthinking. It also gives your team a way to get answers without pulling you in for every single detail. Now that alone can reduce the number of fires that you see in a week quickly. Now the second anchor is ISTS, the Impact Shift Training Series. This is the backbone of your operational clarity. Fires often start because the basics are shaky. It could be a handoff that's unclear, a process that's missing a step, or even someone who's guessing at how to do something. Well, ISTS closes that gap fast because you can use it like a toolbox. When something is broken or unclear, you just grab the tool or a couple of tools and you fix it and then you keep moving. Now, over time, the amount of preventable fires goes down dramatically because the structure is fixed and holding, not just band-aided. The third is Wave Maker. This is the emotional side of leadership that I'm sorry, but you just can't skip it. A big part of firefighting is emotional. People come to you with urgency, and the way that you respond actually sets a pretty important tone. If you lead with panic, the panic spreads. If you lead with silence, people are going to fill that gap with fear. Wavemaker helps you lead with emotional clarity and consistency. Now that means that your team learns to come to you with solutions, not just a whole bunch of problems. It means that they trust you to hear them without adding to the drama. And when emotions are steady, fewer things turn into fires. Fourth and final anchor, the entrepreneurial leader system. This is how you stop being the center of every solution, because ILS trains your team to think and act like owners. That means they don't just escalate problems, they take responsibility for the outcomes. They're going to start making decisions they used to hand over to you. And guess what? They're going to bring you solutions instead of situations. Here's the thing. The fewer situations that land on your desk, the less firefighting you will ever have to do. Now, when you put all four of those together, something shifts. You go from being the middle of everything to being the center of a system that runs with you, not through you. Fires still happen because, hey, that's business, but they're smaller, they're less frequent, and they're way easier to put out without derailing your entire week or weekend. Now, I've watched founders make this shift and they're almost uncomfortable at first. They've said things to me like, oh my gosh, it feels weird not to be in every conversation, or I feel super guilty not just jumping in. That's totally normal because you're letting go of an identity that has been reinforced for years. But then those founders, the same ones, they start to notice other things. They notice that they're sleeping better. They notice that they have time to think about the future instead of just thinking about today. They notice that their team is solving things that they never used to touch. That's the real payoff. Not just more time, but more calm. Not just fewer fires, but more space to design the next stage of the business. And that design work is where the real growth really happens. That's where you decide which opportunities to chase, which markets to enter, which products you get to develop. It's where you lead like the person you set out to be way back when you started this whole thing. So I've got to ask you, are you ready to step out of that firefighter role? Are you ready to stop measuring your value by how many emergencies you can handle or juggle in a week or in a day or even in an hour? Are you ready to build something that breathes so that you can focus on what is next instead of what is on fire? Because that's exactly what the Founders Glue Trap training is totally designed for. Listen, it's not a motivational talk. I am no good at motivational talks. It's a practical, real-world walkthrough of how to use these 4 design anchors to stop living in triage and start leading with intention. It's going to show you exactly how the pieces all fit together to create a business that holds you instead of one that you have to hold up. So if you're tired of the constant fires, if you want to see what calm leadership feels like, go watch it. It's at pinpointwebinars.com. Completely free, no paywall. It is on demand. And it will change how you lead. Pinpointwebinars.com. Because we got to get you out of the firehouse and back into the design studio where you belong. Oh, hey, and come back here on Thursday because I'm going to give you a key to unlock a crazy ROI that you've probably never heard of. You don't want to miss it. I'll see you then.